Yo, what's up, guys? The insane. Oh, god damn it. Torella. Here. What's up, guys? Here to bring you Sket Dance episode 65. 65 review. Sket Dance, we can't do that. It's like a horrible introduction for this. I just ruined that completely. But that's just kind of. Let's just roll with it, shall we? So this is such a bad start. But anyways, so we got a new opening because we're going into the new arc, and I guess I will take a few minutes to talk about the new opening. So we're in opening 6, we're episode 65. We have now finished School Rhapsody, and we're moving on to the Solitude arc, which I think is what it's called, but I'm not sure because I haven't really looked up any information on it, but that's just the assumption I'm going with. And the whole thing is, the opening 6 I actually did enjoy. I actually think it's a little bit catchier than opening 5. Like, opening 5 was okay when I first heard it. Opening 6 immediately caught my attention. So I enjoyed opening 6. They spoiled so fucking much in opening 6, though. It's like, oh, Agata and Mitsuru aren't wearing the student council headbands or armbands, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, Tsubaki's is behind the fucking president's desk. Oh, we have 2 new characters. What's going on? Dun dun dun. And then when you see this episode, it kind of just makes it all click together, because surprisingly, they haven't really focused on Agata that much, and I find it ironic that the arc that Will's focus on him is his like out of the way arc. And I thought that was just kind of funny. Also, the reason why I do know about these things is purely because I don't necessarily read the chapters, but I'll go on the wiki. Like, I'll go into the wiki and I'll randomly learn things. So I already know like both of these characters' gimmicks. Like, I know that apparently the girl's gimmick is that around girls she's overly sexy, and around guys she's like shy or man-hating. I think that's what it is. It's been a minute since I looked at her bio. The guys, I know the guy has a very similar mindset to Himiko. At least Himiko's old mindset anyway. But that's all I've heard about those 2 characters, and I don't really know what even causes the beginning of this arc in terms of the Solitude shit. Which I know is only 3 chapters from what I've seen. So it's like, if it's only 3 chapters, that means it's going to be like 1 episode or something. Also, the ending is still the same, but I've spent like the first 3 minutes on the opening and the spoilers itself. But that was just something I wanted to get out the way. Now we get into the episode, which is based around mainly Agata, Tsubaki, Saaya, and Boston a little bit. Boston towards the end. And I love the joke that because Switch is narrating. He's like, Agata is a genius with an IQ over 160, but when it comes to his little sister, he kind of throws away all logic and reasoning and is just fucking having the cogs in his head turn. And that's the whole joke of the episode, because what it is that Agata notices that Saaya is acting differently and assuming that Saaya has a crush on someone, which he's right, but the problem is the person he thinks the crush is not who it is. Like, he thinks the crush is Tsubaki, but it's Boston, obviously. And that's why it's kind of funny, because he does the whole older brother gimmick where he, like there are portions in the anime where, like, Michiru is just like, Agata, your face is scary. Like, the nigga has, like, the most hilarious faces and phrases in this entire episode. It's like, a lot of people in the Crunchyroll comments were going, this is my favorite episode, which I can see why, because it's hilarious. Because it mixes in some of the things I love. Like, it mixes in the whole Boston, Tsubaki brother thing, the Saaya, Agata brother-sister relationship, and even kind of addressing indirectly some of the crushes. And I thought that was hilarious. Because the way it happens is that now he thinks that Tsubaki is the one that Saaya has a crush on. So what he does, he interrogates Tsubaki after everyone else is gone from the student council room. And there's like these hilarious, awkward situations where Tsubaki would say shit and Agata be like, what the fuck? Like Agata would get offended as an older brother. It's like, what was it like, oh no, that's the second part. I'm thinking one of the first initial jokes is like, well, you need to be honest with your feelings. And the thing is, there's another misunderstanding. Tsubaki thinks Because the thing is, Saaya and Tsubaki ended up talking. That's where the whole idea that they were dating came from. The thing is that when Tsubaki and Saaya were talking, they were kind of working on getting rid of the rest of the cat mannerisms that Tsubaki had left, on top of the whole, just Saaya being interested in Boston's brother. And so, basing that off the conversation, Tsubaki figures that it's about Boston is the person and they're talking so vaguely that that's how it ends up. So it's like, have you two spent time together? Do you want to become closer? And like, Agata's like drilling the shit out of him. But they're all such vague questions that they could be passed for questions you would ask about two brothers. So when it boils down, and I like this because you get to see the insight behind Tsubaki. He's like, well, I don't mind not getting closer, but it's like, I want to do it a little at a time. You know, it kind of, the conversation, even though it's supposed to be about Saaya, ends up being that we kind of get to see that Tsubaki does want to be closer to Boston as a brother. And I like that. I love those kind of, I like this episode mainly partially because of that. And, ironically, it's like, you know what, I'll ask her, I'll ask tonight. I'll ask to hang out tonight. And obviously he's thinking, oh, she's going to ask Saaya out. And what he ends up doing is asking Boston to come over to his house for dinner. They end up, and then like the eye catcher is them eating dinner and then them playing video games, which apparently Tsubaki sucks at, which I thought was hilarious. And then the second half of it is now Agata's freaking out because he's like, wait a minute, you said you were gonna ask them out. It's like, what the fuck? It's like Saaya didn't go anywhere last night, so now he's like freaking out. So he starts drilling Saaya. Saaya thinking that he's referring to Boston because that's her crush. Because what it was is that Agata was drilling the shit out of his sister going, who you dating, who you like, and then he kind of hints towards Boston, but you know, obviously he thinks it's Tsubaki. So still on that, it's like, you need to be forward. You need to go ask him out and all this other shit. So she goes and asks Boston out for tea, which I guess is what you do for dates in Japan. You ask guys out for tea. I don't fucking know. And the funny thing about this is that Boston was in the video game store, ran into Tsubaki, who was sitting there picking up a video game because he failed at video games the night before. And it was kind of funny. So Saaya ends up meeting up with Boston and Tsubaki outside the video game store. And then Agata comes out of fucking nowhere. And now he's on this fucking evil, crazy paranoia shit. He's kind of like assuming a whole bunch of shit. Like, it's like, oh, why is Boston here? He's such a third wheel. Can't you see that fucking Tsubaki and Saaya are trying to be closer together? And then he kind of like clicks it in his mind. It's like, oh, Saaya probably invited Boston because she's still shy around fucking Tsubaki. Which is what he figures, but it didn't stop him from giving fucking Boston cold stares, because then he decides, I'm gonna go have tea too. And I love this, and the next scene was hilarious. It was literally evil Agata, like, just throwing out hateful glances at Boston. Saaya, incredibly embarrassed. Boston just like, why the fuck is Agata angry with me? And then you have Tsubaki in the corner thinking about milk. The type of milk at the cafe. And you're just like, well, it's like, how are y'all brothers? You're dense as shit right now. Like, it's just fucking hilarious. And then what makes it worse is that Boston gets so like flustered. He's like, alright, I'm going to the bathroom. And then you just have Agata. It's his older brother drilling. That's all it is. Like, it was hilarious. It's like, because he kept drilling the shit out of everybody. It was like, whoa! And then by the time everything was said and done, by the end of that entire comedy situation, he kind of gets it right, but he gets it half wrong. Because then he asks his boss, and he's like, listen, because the thing is, he thinks that Tsubaki is like, oh, I stayed up all night playing video games. And fucking Agata has this moment, like, wait a minute, when did Saaya get out of the house? I thought she was a young girl. I guess I forgot she's becoming a mature woman. I was like, what the fuck? So then, like, Tsubaki goes and, I think, goes off, and Boston comes back. And his idea is to ask Boston about what he thinks of Saaya to get a like a another person's opinion, even though Saaya is like incredibly embarrassed because it's Boston. And I like this because I kind of ship Saaya and Boston together. I can honestly, I've said this before. I can do either Himiko or Himiko and Boston or Saaya and Boston because I like both of the female characters. But I love, like, what he ends up saying is he's like, oh, originally she was tsundere and she was kind of clumsy and shit and an airhead. But then, you know, you can see that she tries really hard. And I guess over time she's, you know, she seems cute. She seems cuter now. And it's like, and then Agata was like, huh? And I was like, oh no. And then he kind of starts twisting the gears in his head, start turning again. And now he thinks, now he's gotten the situation half right. He thinks that Boston is in love with Saaya, and and it's like the triangle is like Boston, Saaya, Tsubaki, which is completely wrong. I mean, he got the couple right. He just got the situation of the couple wrong, which is like, oh, you're a genius, but you know, you don't. But when it comes to your little sister, you just become a retard. And the end of the episode, if I remember right, is like Tsubaki comes back with this random fucking cup from the cafe, like a souvenir cup. And it's like, oh, that's kind of random, and it's cute, and it's like, what the fuck? And the episode just ends on that. And I thought it was funny as hell to me. It's like, you gotta watch it, because it's like, I can just going through all these ridiculous facial expressions, and he looks like a gangster half the time. He's like, huh? Koneo, which means bastard in Japanese. He's like, what did you say? He was like, his misunderstanding was straight out hilarious. And yeah, also, and then, as I said, the ending is the same. And then the preview for next week is actually a Momoka episode with Himiko. It's like a Himiko Momoka episode, which we haven't had in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. And just as a side note, I guess the one thing I should mention about the opening 6, I like the scenery set pieces they did. Like, there's a scene with One-san, Chu, and I believe his daughter's name is Yuzu. I love that because I know there is a chapter relating to that. So I'm hoping that episode actually comes up in this season. I'm looking forward to that. There's like this, they even put like a little mini story within the damn opening where like they're trying to save this cat, and like fucking Himiko like jumps off the side of like a bridge to save it, and then Boston like slams his bike into the side of the there's a lake under the bridge. He slams his bike on the side of the I guess the walkway to the bridge, and he flies off trying to catch Himiko, and it's like this, and it's obviously a shipping scene. And like he grabs her hand. It kind of reminded me of that whole Naruto Sasuke thing, like they're flying through air, they're trying to grab each other's hands, and then they go, and then it's like Sket dance, and then the last scene is just them like both wet with the cat like chilling in Himiko's lap, and they're just smiling. I even like the baseball scene at the beginning. I liked all that shit. The opening had good visuals. I enjoyed the visuals. And yeah, they did put like some indirect focus on Saaya again, and then like, you know, obviously the spoiler shit with Agata. But what do you guys think of opening 6? How did you like this episode? Did you laugh your ass off like I did? And honestly, just leave me your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, and I don't know what I'll do. I'll read them. I know I'll do that. I don't know what else I'll do. Anyways, this has been, you know, the vlogs again from your boy Terrell. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys later. Sket, that's what's so awesome! And, PEE, so.